Good evening to you, wherever you are. This is the Clara Luper radio show. You have waited 1 week for this particular show. However, you know that I'm on KBYE every day, Monday through Friday from 2:15. But today is a very special day, and today I would like to dedicate this program to two people that the entire Soul Bazaar on Friday will be dedicated to. The first day of Soul Bazaar 1990, which starts on Friday, March 16th at 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., will be B.J. Glover and Rodney Foster's day. These two young people went to the pages of history, many of the pages that were unwritten, and brought to us by television media the story of black people. B.J. Glover and Rodney Foster, the Soul Bazaar will be yours on Friday, March the 16th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Never before in the history of this state has a story like the stories that we have heard on Channel 5 been told. The stories written and put together and produced by B.J. Glover and Rodney Foster brings black history home to us. It tells us the progress that we have made as a people. And when you come to Soul Bazaar Friday, March 16th, you will know you will be helping us in saying thank you to B.J. Glover and Anthony Foster. I would like for you to do me a personal favor. I would like for you to drop a note, a card, or a letter to Channel 5 and tell them how much you enjoyed the presentations by B.J. Glover and Rodney Foster. Speaking of Soul Bazaar, I want you to be sure and attend the Soul Bazaar, Oklahoma's great trade and industry show. That will be held at the Merritt Convention Center, located in downtown Oklahoma City on March 16th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., on March 17th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. You will have the opportunity to hear continuous entertainment daily. Seminars, fashion shows, talent shows, rapper shows, baby contests, Miss Soul Bazaar, Mr. Talent USA, essay contest, speech contest, special entertainment, art displays, musical. You will also meet the following exhibitors: the Spencer Chevy Company in Norman, Oklahoma; Langston University, Langston, Oklahoma; Vance Motor Company, Guthrie, Oklahoma; the Community Action Program, OG&E; Vicki Miles, your state senator; Homeland, the NACP Youth Council and Senior Branch; George Keys, your county assessor; Sheriff Sharp, your county sheriff. The Oklahoma City Police Department will have two booths. In one, you will have the opportunity to see some of the problems that the police department face and also the careers that are available. The Oklahoma City Fire Department will also show you some fire safety hints and the careers that are available. Ralph Ellison's Library, the Urban League, the Southwestern Bell Telephone Company, Cashlands, Rose State College, A&T, Oklahoma National Guard, Platt College, Oklahoma State Technical College, Powers Nissan from Edmond, Oklahoma, the Rosie Marie Collection, the Bahas, the Stinson Company and Books, One Unique One, KPRW Radio, SCI in El Reno, Oklahoma, Madden and Associates, Pat Marable, Jim Akers, Freedom Center, Miss Black, Oklahoma, KBYE Radio, your own Allstate Insurance agent, Marilyn Hildred. And this will be good news to you because last month Marilyn was rated as the #1 Allstate Insurance agent in the entire territory. I know you must be pleased because you have made a #1. We are very fortunate to announce that Ponca City High School's drama department will present Attic, the most comprehensive story and drama on drug abuse that I have ever seen. The Ponca City High School system is sending these young people to Oklahoma City to show us what is being done in that particular school. And I want you to start talking about it and tell everyone about it. There will be all kinds of prizes that will be given away. You will be able to win groceries every day. It's something. Now, the tickets are on sale at Stale's Restaurant, 1100 Northeast 23rd Street, and at Bright Cleaners, 4905 North Martin Luther King Avenue, and from the various contestants. You cannot afford to miss the 1990 exciting Soul Bazaar. And there will be some groups, and I will let you meet some of these groups today. I would like to read a letter that I've just received from Mr. John Fault, the mayor of Dale City, Oklahoma. You remember on January the 15th, when we were celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday, there were some cities, and I would like to thank Mr. Gaylord, who was kind enough to publish these cities on the front page that did not celebrate his birthday. But I have good news for you. The mayor of Dale City says that Dale City gave our non-uniform employees the extra holiday when the city included Dr. King's birthday as a holiday in the city's FOP contract negotiation, and late in the year they negotiated with the local IAFF. Dale City citizens are proud to recognize Dr. King's many valuable civil rights accomplishments as City Hall closes its doors to honor Martin Luther King on his birthday. Best wishes, the mayor, John Fault. This is the Clara Luper radio show. Now, it is our business to salute people, and we want to be the radio program that allows people to have the opportunity to express themselves. I may not agree with you on many issues, but one issue that I will agree with you on is that we're very fortunate to live in America. And every time I sing this song, my country tears of thee, sweet land of liberty of thee I sing. I know that's a commitment on my part to do what I can to make America that land. When the founders' fathers came here, they were very concerned with religion. In fact, if you would have had the opportunity to interview our forefathers, they would have told you that they came to this country seeking religious freedom. Now, to many of us, that does not mean anything. I've had young people to tell me they went to church, and I was so happy because I thought they had been to a former church. But then, to my surprise, they told me they had been to church's chicken. Well, so many times they say to me that I would go to church, but I do not know what's happening. It is the purpose of the Clara Luper radio show to tell you what's happening in your own city. Our forefathers walked miles in order to worship God together. And now with our chariots in the form of Fords, Cadillacs, Mercedes, Pontiacs and all, how far will we go to worship God? Well, today we have a young man who has come to our city with knowledge of medicine. He's a PhD, an MD, Dr. James R. Gavin, who has come to this city and brought with him the love of our forefathers for the churches. And today he has come here to tell us about his church. Welcome to the Clara Luper radio show.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Luper, and it is really a pleasure for me to be here with you on your show and to meet you, a person who's had such an impact on history in general in the Oklahoma City area and on black history in particular. It's really an honor for me.
It's certainly an honor for you to be in our town and to be with a group of people that understand what being black means. The AME Church across this country has probably given more to support NACP than any other church or group of churches in the United States. At the National Convention, I've seen your bishops, from Bishop Mayo on down, that have stood and have given contributions to the great cause of freedom. And today I have invited you here because I want to know what's happening in Oklahoma City at Avery Chapel AME Church.
And I certainly do thank you on behalf of Dr. Leota Strong, the pastor at Avery, and particularly on behalf of the membership of Avery Chapel Church at 1425 North Kellum, where we are in the midst of getting ready to launch what we hope will be one of the most impressive and most far-reaching revival efforts that Avery Chapel has ever had. And that begins on Monday evening, March 12th, 7 o'clock, at Avery Chapel. We're very, very excited to have as our evangelist for this revival Dr. Adam J. Richardson, Jr., who is presently the pastor of Bethel AME Church in Tallahassee, Florida, a well-known, dynamic, inspirational theologian and spiritualist, and certainly a preacher who can touch the very souls of all of those who come and take part in this. And we're looking forward to having you join us in this effort.
I've heard a lot about the doctor that's coming here to run the revival, but I do not have the insight on what he has done, what he has accomplished. Would you furnish me with that information, please?
I'd be more than happy to. Dr. Richardson has a distinguished background. After having been raised in Florida, he was born in Clearwater, raised in Tampa, Florida, did his undergraduate training at Florida A&M, had his master's degree at the Interdenominational Theological Seminary in Atlanta, Georgia, where he also received his doctorate. He has been a professor at Morris Brown College. He has been a professor at the Interdenominational Theological Seminary. He has lectured to many groups. He has contributed 3 chapters to several books and has written articles in many newspapers and journals. He is well known as a leader, and in fact, he led his congregation down at Bethel in the construction of a worship, study, and community complex at a cost of over $1.5 million. So we're talking about a man who's interested in leadership, who is a spiritual leader, and who certainly has had a history of being very interested in the development of young people, particularly in the development of black youth. And that's why we're so extremely happy and excited about having him come to be with us.
Now, why do you see a need at this time to have a revival?
Well, I think the whole issue of revival, when we think about the term itself, it simply means to renew, to arouse from unconsciousness. In a sense, it's really trying to bring one from a level of unawareness into a level of awareness. And when we look around us and see all that's going on, there's been a breakdown of values. That needs revival. There's been a breakdown of the family structure. That is in need of revival. There's been a breakdown of the role that the church itself plays in helping people lead a whole and wholesome and healthy and spirit-filled life. I think it's clear that needs revival. And in a sense, the people who are perhaps in the most need of revival are those people who come Sunday after Sunday and yet are spiritually sound asleep. All of us need to be awakened spiritually. And the one thing that's built into the Christian tradition for doing that is the whole notion of spiritual revival. And that's what this effort is all about.
You're very fortunate to get Dr. Richardson
Yes.
to come to Oklahoma City. I don't think he has ever been to Oklahoma City before.
No, I don't think so. And I think we have our own pastor and his persuasive powers and personal contacts with Dr. Richardson to thank for that, because as you know, Dr. Richardson is extremely busy, but he's taking this time out to participate in this effort.
The world is so small. A few weeks ago, Dr. Strong was in Los Angeles, California. He attended what was known as that big AME breakfast, and at that time he was called on to give the closing prayer. After the prayer, a group of my friends and supporters called me and said, well, I heard Dr. Strong pray. Can he preach? And I say that I don't want you to miss the opportunity of hearing him. So she and a group of my sorority sisters and all went out to hear him. They said he told that church up. And Dr. Strong did not tell me, but I know exactly what he preached about. I know how long he preached, and I know he was at the Brookings AME Church in Los Angeles, California. The world is so small, and the contact he has made is just unbelievable. Once again, let's go back over exactly what's going to happen, where it's going to happen, and when it will happen.
We are going to be kicking off our revival effort on Monday night at Avery Chapel AME Church, located at 1425 North Kellum. It's right there in northeast Oklahoma City on Kellum between 13th and 14th Streets. And we're going to be going through Friday the 16th of March. And we have a spirit-filled evening. We have invited choirs, invited churches coming to be with us on every night except the opening and the closing nights. We will have fellowship, and we are really looking forward to an exciting week of spirit-filled activity. And we invite Oklahoma City to come join us in this effort.
I cannot miss that opportunity because I can hardly wait. Everybody that I've ever heard say anything about Dr. Richardson rates him as one of the top ministers, not only in preaching, but in living what he preached. Because we have a lot of people that can preach, but when it comes to living it, that's a different sermon altogether. So I would like to thank you, and I would like for you to issue another invitation to people to come to your church.
Please do. Come and see us, come be with us, come and participate in an exciting opportunity for spiritual revival. All of us are in need of it. We want to reclaim those who have somehow or another drifted away, and we want to win new souls. Avery Chapel AME's revival beginning March 12th through March 16th. Come be with us. We look forward to it.
Thank you so very kindly for being my very special guest today. When we talk about religion, I have a big news report to give you today. All of us are going to die. And we will be all dressed up, and it'll be a tragedy if we have nowhere to go. And today we mourn the death of some of our Oklahoma Cityans. And here's Onita with the funeral and death announcements. Onita.
Ross Funeral Home announces the following services. Services from Mrs. Helen D. Thompson of Oklahoma City is pending with the Ross Funeral Home. Temple Funeral Home announces the services of Mr. Reuben Jones of 1440 North Everest. Will be Monday at 11 a.m. at the Unity Baptist Church. Services from Mr. Charles Burnett of 2208 Felix Drive will be Tuesday at 11 a.m. in the chapel of the Temple Funeral Home. Funeral service from Mr. Richard King of 1312 Northeast 10th will be Wednesday at 2 p.m. in the chapel of the Temple Funeral Home. Funeral service from Mr. Monroe Hill of 520 North Lindsay is pending with the Temple Funeral Home. As we extend to you our deepest sympathy today, we ask you to look to the hills from which cometh your help. Your help cometh from God. And back to Clara.
Thank you, Onita. Time in Oklahoma. Soul Bazaar time means that you will have the opportunity to go to Oklahoma's Great Trade and Industry Show this Friday and Saturday. At Spencer Chevrolet Company will be there, Langston University, Vance Motor Company, the Community Action Program, OG&E, Vicki Miles, your state senator, Coors, Langston University. And Langston has something very special. The Langston Jazz Band will be there, along with the 4-H clubbers from out in the Ada area, the Ponca City High School drama group. And then we have all kinds of talent that you will have the opportunity to hear some of this talent today. Homeland will be there, the Oklahoma City Police Department, AT&T, Ralph Ellison, Urban League, Southwest Bell Telephone Company, Spencer Chevrolet Company, Rose State, Oklahoma State Tech, Powers from Nissan, and you will get to hear from them today. We have an exciting program, and don't forget that the program will be dedicated, the first day of the Soul Bazaar, will be dedicated to Anthony Foster and B.J. Glover. Now, speaking of the Soul Bazaar, it was a long time ago that a young man decided to have a gospel-orama. At this time, he would invite all of his friends and all of groups to come out and sing God's great news. Yes, you know, and you remember Derek Platt, who was Mr. Talent USA, who was the coordinator for the gospel orama at the Soul Bazaar. You remember him. But we lost Derek Platt. Derek Platt went to sing with the great choir in heaven. And after his death, his mother called me and said to me, Clara, I would like to have the honor to carry on for Derek. And for the past 2 years, she has presented the Gospelorama in the same spirit that her son did. And she is with me today. Mrs. Meadows, I would like to welcome you to the Clara Luper Radio Show. I would like to welcome you, and you may tell the radio audience exactly what you want.
I would like for all of the churches that have singing groups to come and participate with us in the Gospel Festival 90 to help support the young people that are striving to sing for the Lord. You know, we're living in the last and evil days, and if it was ever time that young people need to praise God, is now. We see young people on the streets are hooked on drugs, and people are saying that the church is not doing their job. But we, the parents of the children, we got to stand up for righteousness. We got to live holy, that we may tell our children how to live for the Lord, that they might come in off the streets and see nothing can save your children from drugs, but they have to be born again, born of the Spirit, you know, baptized over, that they may be born again. You know, Nicodemus was said that how can a man be born again but of the Spirit? And that's why we are in our old fleshly ways. We are born in sin and wrapped up in iniquity. And when we're wrapped up in iniquity, we need to be born again. And when we're born again, we can change from these old ways and these old habits and everything. There's no other way that we can be changed but through the Spirit of God. And that's why it's so important that we must have the Spirit of God, that we might walk in righteousness, that we might live holy, that we might tell our children how to live. If we don't live it, they don't have no example. And one thing about it, it's the black children that are getting shot down in the streets and that are hooked on drugs. Every time you pick up the papers, our children, and some people will say, well, I don't have teenagers, I don't have young people. But one thing about it, as we are body of Christ, we're one. And we got to pray that God would intercede for our young people, that they would come in and live for the Lord, and they would turn from the things of the world and seek God. And that's what I want all these young people in these churches that have their doors open, lifting up Jesus. Let's share in this Gospel Festival 90, that we might draw our young people and get them interested in something else besides drugs and sex. That's the main thing. If we get them interested in God, and God has a perfect plan for his people, we don't have to die and go to hell. We can go to heaven.
All right, how can the people, the different singing groups, get in contact with you?
Well, my number is 755-0498.
755, would you repeat it?
755-0498. You can call anytime after 1 o'clock in the daytime.
Okay, and all they have to do is to call you, and you will arrange them on the program.
Yes.
Thank you so very kindly for being my very distinguished guest. And I'll see you at Soul Bazaar 90. I would like to also salute the various talent. We have some of the most talented people you have ever heard of. The Mind Benders will be here. We have the Boogie Boys. We have the Desk Boat number 3. And I think that I have that right. The Reggie Martin will also be here. Krishna Dennis, and I will tell you about these Soul Bazaar, Miss Soul Bazaar contestants: Yvonne Washington, Javita Johnson, Rochelle Smith, Carrie Smith, Carol Brown, Louise Barber, Alicia Hildred, Tanya Woods, Carol Brown, Louise Barber, Shalavati Robinson, Diane Clay, Chavanese Anderson, Diane Lilliton, Tamika Langston, Denise Davis, Dana Carter, Francesca Thomas. Oh, we have some beautiful girls. And Mrs. Hunter will be here later to tell you about the babies. Let's go, Millwood. Let's go. Let's go, Millwood. On to victory today. It's going to be yours. We're going to be number 1.
And so is Northeast High School today. Northeast High School plays for the 4A state championship against Tulsa McLean at 7:30 at the Myriad Convention Center. Following that, Moore and Norman will be playing for the 5A state championship. So I would like for everyone to come and support Northeast and also Millwood as they battle Hugo for the 3A state championship at 8:30 at the state fairgrounds.
Let's go, Millwood. Let's go, Vikings. What happened to the other team? I wish Mrs. Hunter would come out here and tell me what happened to Douglas High School. I would like for Nancy Davis to come and tell me what happened to Star Spencer. And certainly, I would like for Mr. Griffin to come and tell me what happened to John Marshall. Go, Vikings, go. Go, Millwood, go. Let's go. If you ask me who I'm for, I'll tell you. I'm for the Vikings and Millwood. Wonder where's Mrs. Hunter? I know Mrs. Hunter told me that Douglas was going to win. What do you think, Shelley?
I'm hoping for Northeast as I will be there tonight cheering for my team. And I believe if they play well, we can beat Tulsa McLean. And I'm also going for Millwood, and I hope that they beat Hugo this evening because Northeast has not had a state basketball title since 1972. And this is a year that they should bring it back and win again.
Well, thank you so very kindly. Shelley, let's go, Millwood. If you ever went to Millwood, I want you out there tonight. Go out there. I want you to see Millwood walk away with the championship. Calling all Northeast, all Northeast graduates, Northeast friends. We can't let Tulsa beat us tonight with a crowd. Let's go, Vikings. Let's go. Mrs. Hunter, tell me about those babies. I want to hear about those freedom babies. And today I have a sad story that I will have to tell you. I'm not a refrigerator, and I can't keep it. I'm going to have to tell it to you just like it happened, and I want you to be sure and stay tuned for the Clara Luper radio show. Mrs. Hunter, I understand that the 1990 Freedom Baby, Soul Bazaar babies are ready to go.
They really are. They're ready to go. Now, if you didn't pick up Ebony Tribune, by all means, go by and pick up one. Because in this paper, you're going to find the pictures of beautiful babies for the Soul Bazaar, and this activity will be taking place on the 16th, and at 5 o'clock at the Myriad Conventional Center. So remember, I'm putting that AD on it so you won't get it confused with the Myriad. And I have some beautiful babies, and
they sure are. Those are the most beautiful babies I've ever seen. Would you give me the names of those babies?
I have a little Miss Scales, I have Mr. Mitchell, and I have Miss Wilson, and I have Miss Ellison, and I have a little Miss Hardeman, I have a little Miss Bowen, I have a little Miss Birkins, and I have a little Miss Polite. Those are the pictures that's in the paper. Now, these missed the paper because they were there too late to get in.
Okay.
But I do want you to know that I also have some other little Fields. I have some little Miss Fields and a Mr. Fields that's in it, and also Craig Harding and little Miss Emery, two Miss Emerys that will be in the baby pageant. And I'm sorry I didn't get the pictures in time to get them to print, because pictures have to be in at a certain time to get your baby pictured in the paper.
But that baby show will be when?
Baby show will be on March the 16th at 5 p.m. at the Marriott.
Okay, it's Soul Bazaar time in Oklahoma. Lady, I want you to stay here because I want you to help me tell the saddest story as it relates to black people in America that I have ever told. And I've been telling them for a long time. In the meantime, it's Soul Bazaar time in Oklahoma. Lady, I hate to tell you this, but I am so fortunate. I am the most fortunate person in the entire world. Once upon a time, I walked in a classroom, and I saw some little kids. All these were some kids. But I saw more than that. I saw doctors, lawyers, business people on down the line. And today I'm very fortunate to have as my guest one of my little bitty students who is now a well-fed, healthy young man and who is one of the top salesperson in this country. I would like to welcome a graduate of Dungy High School, Mr. Larry Fugit. Larry, how are you today?
Just fine, Mr. Luper.
I understand that you are going to be part of the Soul Bazaar.
Yes, I am.
Okay, you're going to be part of the Soul Bazaar. Tell me what you're going to be doing at the Soul Bazaar.
Mrs. Luper, I'll be representing Edmund Nissan, which is under the Powers Management team, and we will have 2 booths at the Soul Bazaar this year.
Okay, you are representing what company?
Edmund Nissan, which is part of the Powers Management team.
What position do you hold there? Now, you're going to tell me you're selling what kind of cars?
Right now, we're selling all phases of Nissans. We also have Hondas, Mitsubishis, and Daihatsus.
Okay, I love those names. Those are some names. They are Oriental. Those are Japanese names. Now, suppose for a minute, let's just set up a hypothetical situation like we used to do in school some time ago. Out in Radio Land, you have somebody out there who wants a car. Tell them why they should buy your particular car.
Well, the Nissan 5,000 if you like our brand new 300ZX.
Oh, I'm interested in your brand new, what?
300ZX.
It's 300ZX. Sell it to me.
The 1990 300ZX is a completely redesigned car. It starts out in a non-turbo model at 222 horsepower. It comes in a 2-seater model and also a 2+2 model. And then from there you go into the 2+2 twin turbo, which at an automatic transmission gives you 280 horsepower, and a 5-speed transmission gives you 300 horsepower.
Now that you have told me about that one, tell me about something that's in my income bracket, please. I like to dream.
Well, Mrs. Luper, in your income bracket, we could see you in the 1990 Maxima. The Maxima went through a body change in 1989, and it's was elected not only one of the most trouble-free cars in America, but one of the 10 best cars in the world today.
And so you will be at Soul Bazaar 90, Friday and Saturday, and you will be showing which cars now?
We will have the 1990 Maxima there and also the brand new 1990 240SX.
I'll see you at Soul Bazaar 90. Thank you so very kindly for being my guest.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned, because Clara Luper has the saddest story that has ever been told. And Letty Ruth Hunter is going to help me tell it. It's going to be some story. But we are talking about Soul Bazaar 90. I have lived a long time. God has really blessed me. And if I should die today, I shall be happy, because I would have seen everything. Today, I have here in living colors a female representing the Oklahoma City Fire Department. Now, that's a miracle within itself. Right, Letty?
Correct.
Okay, I am so excited about it. Would you give us your name, please?
Hello, I'm Barbara Rogers.
Okay, Barbara Rogers, are you really representing the fire department?
You bet, Miss Luper. I'm representing the Fire Department Administration, and I'm a firefighter in the Suppression Extinguishment Division.
Just a minute. Now, you came on. I'm from Huffman, Oklahoma. We didn't have firefighters and all that. We had a well, and we had to go and draw our water and run pour it on the buildings and try to put them out, but most of them was burned down. Now, you are what?
I'm a firefighter. I actually ride the apparatus and extinguish fires in the Suppression Division.
Why did you become involved in firefighters' business?
Specifically because I found that it was a hero job, that it was a career and not a job, and that it was a community service that made me feel good. When somebody asked me, where do you work? I could say proudly the Oklahoma City Fire Department, because we do such a good job and we care so much about our fellow man and our community. Plus, the benefits are great. The pay starts at $18,733.
That's a starting pay?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes, I better put in for one of those jobs. Now, I understand you're going to be part of Soul Bazaar 90.
Yes, ma'am. This Friday and Saturday, we're going to attend the Soul Bazaar 90.
Okay, what are you going to be showing?
We'll have 2 booths. Our first booth will be the Fire Prevention and Education booth, and also we'll have a new booth called Career Recruitment.
Okay, let's start at career recruitment. You'll be actually there recruiting people to work for the fire department?
Yes, ma'am. We have a application procedure that we go through that we want to explain to especially females and minorities, and show them that anybody can apply for this job, that if I'm a 36-year-old woman and made it, that you can do it too. And so we're going to explain what the testing procedure is and what type of individual we are looking for, and then explain to the requirements, and then show them that they can do it.
Do you have an age requirement?
Yes, ma'am, 18
Oh, I've
and
just been-
older.
I've just
18
been knocked
and
out.
older.
And older. So
That's
okay,
all.
okay,
There's no
because I have retired from the teaching field, and I'd hate to go and apply, and then you would tell me I was too old. I would have to throw that Civil Rights Bill of 1964 on you.
I would not tell you that, but you have to be 18. That's it.
Okay. Now, I would like to certainly thank you. And anything you would like to say to the 600,000 people that are visiting with me today, say it to them. They are all out there waiting for you.
Thank you for having me. I'm very honored to meet you, Miss Luper, and I'm so energized by your excitement, enthusiasm today. I just want to tell everyone that firefighting is not limited to men only, and that women are succeeding in fire suppression, and we encourage everyone to come out and just see what we are about. Come to the Soul Bazaar this Friday and Saturday and see us.
You've certainly given me inspiration, and God might let me live long enough to see a female fire chief in Oklahoma City.
Hallelujah.
All right. Thank you so very kindly. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show. Thank you for being my guest today. Go Vikings, go! Go Millwood, go! 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 Go Vikings, go! Let's back the Vikings tonight. I have 2 rap groups here today that's going to rap for you. You have never heard nothing about until you hear these 2 rap groups that I have. Stay tuned for the Clara Luper Radio Show. I told you that I was going to tell you a sad story, and it is a sad story. Because from the beginning of this radio station with its blacks, including Abram Ross, Ben Tipton, we have told you about the progress that black people have made. We were the ones that brought you the story of blacks trying to get into the social atmosphere, trying to get into restaurants and hotels and motels, trying to find better jobs, trying to find new opportunities and better homes. We told you about it. We told you about what we had to face as we cried out for integration. You were with us. Well, this is a sad story, because on Friday, I had the opportunity to follow up on a radio broadcast that I had done last week. Because in the Daily Oklahoman, I read an article in which a social worker, a black social worker, had stated, and I read directly from the article, that foster parents must be committed because the job takes time. And that was Nadine Rogers. I also read an article by Thelma Austin, who stated that we have always had a shortage of homes for black infants. This article also stated that we are looking for black homes for black children. And then Thelma Austin, a state human services worker, say that we want to put children in the same race homes to help the children establish an identity with their race. That led me to Mrs. Cheryl Mullins, a foster care program supervisor, who said about 952 children had been placed in foster homes since February the 3rd, and 440 of those children were black. Now, I was very concerned, and I asked Mrs. Mullins to send me a record so I would understand. And ladies and gentlemen, in the social pages of our welfare department, I'm reading, race. A child is placed with a family of like ethnic and cultural heritage, which basically means that a black child is to be placed in a black home and a white child in a white home. Now, I asked for a meeting. This meeting was provided. I had the opportunity yesterday to meet with the man that's over the Human Resources Department, the Honorable Phil Watson, who was a former senator and who is a minister, and he's now the director of that division, Mr. Miller and Mr. Ray. I think I'm correct on that name. Reverend W.B. Parker, Mr. Bobby Ballou, Letty Rose Hunter, and I went into this meeting. I had the opportunity to present my case similar to the one that we presented to Mr. Rader some years ago when he would not hire blacks. And Letty Ruth Hunter, you were there. Did you know what Phil Watson told us? Why they were putting black children in black homes?
Yes, I heard him talk about it, Mrs. Luper. But why don't you just give it to them in details?
Well, I can give it to you in details. He said that they were doing that based upon the recommendation of black, B-L-A-C-K, social workers. And some man named Dr. Merritt, who had written a paper that was delivered to the Social Workers Association, in which he stated that it would be better for black children to be placed in black homes and white children in white homes.
And they did decide that this article that the man put in the paper, according to my understanding, was just like a law and gospel. But when you told him about a Pacific law, they told you, the law can work different ways and you interpret the law different ways. And I couldn't understand how they could interpret the law in different manners. And this is a law that is written by the people, the governing power. And here is a man who writes a paper, and they say this is law and gospel. Can interpret it any differently. I could not understand that.
But what I did, excuse me, lady, but what I did when they told me that this was a law made by black, B-L-A-C-K, social workers, I opened my constitutional book and read the law for them that was made by whites.
And it reads?
This law is from Section 135 of the Oklahoma Statute, which states that the Corporation Committee is hereby vested with power to require telephone companies in the state of Oklahoma to maintain separate booths for whites and separate booths for colored. I also read Section 231, which was a bathhouse law, which requires at mines separate baths and lockers for Negroes, separate towels, separate soap, and lock. Bathhouses must be set up to accommodate blacks and whites. Then I read from another law, a law that's the law of the land. The 14th Amendment says that all persons born in the United States are citizens and are entitled to certain basic rights. That was not enough. I read to Phil the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which stated very plainly that there shall be no discrimination based on race, creed, or color. And at that time, Reverend Parker spoke and explained our ways. And they told Mr. Watson told us that the black preachers had approved. And I asked him for the names of those black preachers, because if the black preachers approve of segregation in placing babies, then they are also approving everything they have fought against. And I didn't believe that. And then the sad story started when we went downstairs. We went downstairs, and they had brought in social workers from Tulsa, from other areas, and they are distinguished leaders. And Letty, do you know what happened?
What happened, Mrs. Luper? So much happened in that meeting. It was unbelievable, because I couldn't believe that the people would come from all across Oklahoma. They were from Oklahoma, and bringing into us some ideas. And one lady talked about a state that's not in Oklahoma, another state rather than Oklahoma. And I couldn't believe some of the things that they were saying.
Well, those black social workers have been suffering from a Rip Van Winkle disease. They have been asleep since the 60s. They did not know Martin Luther King died in order that black people and white people could live together as brothers. They didn't know that Medgar Evers died for the rights of all people to be free. And when you tell me, you look in my I'm blacker than a blackberry, and you tell me that black people can't take care of white babies, I said these social workers slept through slavery because black people nursed white babies.
I wondered, why did they say that? Because most blacks were nannies all through history, even back from the days that I can read in George Washington time.
I want you to call me.
And then in our modern days, we took care of their babies. They have not been in our homes taking care of our babies, but we sure know what goes on in their homes.
What those black
took care of their white babies.
Say, lady, what those black social workers did, they slept through the economic revolution.
I guess they
did not tell the public. Now here they go over here, you black people adopt black babies. Well, any idiot would know 1 out of every 10 babies would be black. And who's making the money in foster care? if, according to their records, not Clara Luper's records, since February the 3rd, 1,942 children have been placed in foster homes. That meant 1,512 white families in this town are receiving $300 and some per baby, while only 440. And if that's right, and they believe they were right.
But that's right, because I asked them about some of the things that I had talked with Mrs. Austin about. And that is, what were the qualifications? And Mrs. Austin had told me, well, it has to be a good environment. Now, who determines what kind of environment that Oklahoma City has? Then she said, and then the homes. And I said, what about the homes? And then she went to tell me about how the home should look. And I told her, I said, well, you know, my home may not compare with one out there at Quail Creeks or
Well,
Quail
mine will.
or something like
some
that.
home.
If this is what you're looking for, a big house, a big 2-story house, 4 bedrooms, upstairs, 4 down. And then she said, well, you know, you have to have more than 2 bedrooms. I said, I had 9 in my family. And I know a family who had 14 and
Well,
didn't
Phil
have but
Watson
3.
came from a family of about 10. Now, those black social
So
workers...
I can't believe that.
This is really the joke of the century. The black social workers told us that it would be better for their culture, that in a black home, black history is taught, and in a white home, white history is taught. I didn't believe that, because here I spent all my life teaching. Those black social workers do not know that in black homes, when a baby is 3 days old, a month old, they aren't taught any kind of history.
Well, that is true. And then I was surprised that the lady said, well, we can't find satisfactory homes in the black neighborhood. And I said, satisfactory? What are you talking about, satisfactory? She said, well, I mean number. Now, if you fellas are sitting here looking at me, can give me the definition for satisfactory and tell me satisfactory mean numbers, I want you to do it.
Well, I want somebody to call me at 478-2103. I have about 4 minutes worth of calls because I got the rappers here today. Now, if those black social workers believe that we are going back to a segregated world, they are dreaming. Now, let me tell you who the black social workers stood up beside today. They stood up beside the Ku Klux Klan and shook hands with them. They are with the White Citizens Council. They are with those segregationists that fought for the elimination of integration. And this is the Clara Luper radio show, and if you don't like what I say, you come out here and say it yourself. Clara Luper.
Mrs. Luper, I would like to comment on this issue of children, foster children. I am a well-educated black woman. I live in Oklahoma City. I went to Oklahoma State University, and I know that there are people who do not understand the laws of the land, but I disagree with people who are so ignorant as to believe that black children belong in black homes and white children belong in white homes.
Well, thank you so very kindly.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I just heard from an educated black lady who said she is with me. And one thing about it, I did some study, and I'm going to bring you names, times, and places. I found out that the black social workers that say there's such a need for black foster homes, they don't have any. Clara Luper reporting, KBYE Radio in Oklahoma City. Dr. A.L. Dial is your optometrist, and if you need some glasses, remember to call Dr. A.L. Dial. Those black social workers, I'm not going to call their names today, but I'm doing a specific study. I had one sitting up there, a big supervisor, and we went out there one time, they told us blacks couldn't supervise. And you a big, what is best for black people? Who ever in your life heard of such? Well, this is the Clara Luper Radio, and I'm talking. Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Luper.
Yes?
This is Cheryl Fowler, and I'd like to comment on the article that was put in the paper.
Yes.
About the black kids go to the black homes and the white kids go to the white homes. Well, I have been in education for 20 years, and I've had all kinds of psychology classes, and I have been told and I have seen that a child is a child. What difference does it make? As long as he has a well-rounded environment. And I also have a student in my class that is one of 10 children, and in his home he has blacks, El Salvadors, all types of children, and they are the best well-rounded foster children I have ever seen. So I am saying to the black social workers that said that, what difference does it make in a child? A child is a child.
Well, thank you so very kindly.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, one thing about it, the black social workers, now I want everybody to write this down. If the white folks out to the Human Service Department said it was not them, it was the black social workers. I didn't believe it until I went downstairs surrounded by black social workers who said it is true. We believe. Who are we? How do you know? Oh, anyway, they don't even know that a black man invented ice cream. Well, I'll tell you, it was Augustus Jackson. That's what you don't know. Mr. Bowie, I have you with me today, and I want you to tell me what you're going to do in Soul Bazaar.
How you doing, Ms. Luper?
Oh, I'm fine today.
We're going to throw down in the Soul Bazaar on Friday and Saturday and come down and have a good time. We want everybody else to come down and have a good time. So I just want to bust a little rap here for everybody out there for the positive tip, all right, everybody? So here's the deal. I want you to work for yourself because a backyard job doesn't lead to wealth. It makes life rougher and things get tougher. You're always worried and you always suffer. Just open your eyes, realize you're your own boss. Now there's no surprise. And after everything's done, you bank the money, you're sitting on cash, and everything's funny. You want to come up, you must explore things in the world that you never saw before. Like the Giants, we're out here night after night. We're telling blacks what's up when we grab the mic. We got the super dope concert and then our high sign. My mind's benign, I'm pulling out the rhyme. Everybody knows I'm taking this science. If you did not know, I'm an underground giant. And that's on a positive tip, everybody. I want everybody to come out to the Soul Bazaar and have a good time. We got the Mind Blenders up next. Y'all be cool.
Okay, we're going to be cool. This is the Clara Luper radio show.
Yes, my name is Martha.
I can't hear you. Will you talk just a bit louder?
Yes, my name is Martha.
Your name, wait a minute. Just a minute. I want to make sure that I'm hearing you.
Martha.
Okay, your name is Martha?
Yes. And I'd like to say that everybody...
Okay, wait a minute. Just a minute. We're having a little technical difficulty. We are ready now. Your name is what?
Martha.
Martha?
And I believe that everybody has their own opinion and their own right to certain things. God has put his own on earth, which is all of us, and he has put us in different colors. And I do believe that the lady that called in earlier and said that the family that she had that was foster kids, they probably reared up by white folks. Now, we don't come to your side of the town and eat in your restaurants and boycott your restaurants. And I think black children should be raised by black folks, and I think white children should be raised by white folks. And the social workers, they know, they've been to school and they've got education. They even agree with that. And I don't know what you all are just kicking up a big fuss about it. None of you all have white children in your home, and you probably don't want them, and we don't want your children in our home either. Thank you.
Thank you, Clara. I sure disagree with you. Let me go. Father, and all of God's children are in different colors. I really don't agree with you, and I'm glad that you're telling me about it, but I've got to get ready for Soul Bazaar 90, and here we have a group here ready to go. Just a minute before we start rapping, because we're going to rap away, and next week I'm going to have a big surprise for you. I'm going to give you the names of the workers that slept through the revolution. Clara Luper.
Calling back because I listened to the response of the lady that called in just now. And I want to emphasize, children, when they are born in this world, they are not born educated to color. And I believe that there is a gross misunderstanding of human nature for children to be brought up in ethnic groups. To live and work in this world, children who become adults will have to learn to live and work with everybody.
Okay, thank you so very kindly. You're exactly right. Now, they told me that about black children, and they thought I was so dumb that I haven't seen the airplanes come in with Oriental children and others that come into America and are well adjusted. We do not have any any dinners left at Freedom Center. All of the chitlins are gone. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and I want to say it out loud. God is our Father, and he did not intend to discriminate against children. And the black social workers slept through the revolution. They don't even know Martin Luther King is dead, and they don't know why he died. But we are here today, and we're all ready, Mr. LaShore. Tell us about it.
How you doing? My name is MC Rock LaShore. I'll be representing the Mind Benders that is going to be rapping at the Soul Bazaar on Saturday, March 17th at 5 o'clock. We're going to do a show from 5 to 5:45. We want y'all to come out and check us out and support us. We have a positive rap group. We rap about reality that's happening in the world today. You're going to be hearing a song, Whatever Happened to Love, one that we wrote that's original. But I also want to get out a public service announcement on saying no to drugs. So if I could please just have your undivided attention, I must bring up a subject that needs to be mentioned. The war on drugs is what I'm talking about, and this is serious business, so hear me out. Saying no to drugs is a difficult task, but there is one question that I'd like to ask. How can you have a future with no brain? People on drugs have nothing to gain. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, red, or brown. If you're doing drugs, then you're going down. Drugs don't discriminate. Let me put it to you straight. If you're taking drugs, then you got yourself a real day with death. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm not beating around the bush. I'm shooting straight at your head. Haven't you seen what drugs can do? Take a look around. Don't you have a clue? If you're on drugs, then you're running out of time. Tell me, what can you do when you've lost your mind? Get smart, people. Get your head out the mud. Do the right thing and say no to drugs.
Thank you. You're out of sight, and you will be at the Soul Bazaar. Everybody's going wild. Thank you so very kindly. Clara Luper.
Yes, Miss Luper?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Latrina, and I have a comment on what the caller before last said.
Yes.
Well, I happen to think that it doesn't matter what color you are or where you're raised, just as long as you be yourself. I think that was racism.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you black social workers, that's a young lady who says she thinks it's racism. Now, I want the black social workers to tell me, how can a white baby at 2 months and a black baby at 2 months discuss culture? I would like for the black social workers to tell me that I'm ignorant about what's happening in the black community. Well, let's boil it down to business. The black social workers' segregation must go. We've got to tell them, lady, we can't babysit with them. Bobby Ballard told them, you say they can't adjust to blacks. How can a black child adjust to a picture of Jesus?
Well, that is true. And you know, Mrs. Luper, we just need to stop and think, because I don't really believe Americans are thinking. Because if they're so bad on black, I told them to quit reading the newspaper, because it's black and white. If they're so bad on black, quit drinking that black milk that they're getting from those black cows. If they're so hard on black is so something that white cannot stand. Now, why are they reading that newspaper? I think they ought to have that newspaper green and yellow. I don't think it should be black and white. That newspaper should be another color. And they also should change the color of the telephone book. Don't have no black and white in that telephone book, because that one lady just told me that white should be white and black should be black. So let all that print in that telephone book be white for whites and be blacks for us, because they don't want any blacks. That's all I have to say.
Well, black teachers got ready to go in white schools. There were people that say that it wouldn't work, and now everybody's crazy about black teachers if they are good teachers and white teachers if they are good teachers.
That's right, and I have a little white girl, Mrs. Luper. She sends me a card. She works for an airline. She sends me a card everywhere she goes, and she said, Miss Hunter, I don't ever plan for you to forget me. And she is white, and I taught her in school.
They are social workers. They are black, and they have slept through the revolution. Clara Luper.
Yes, about 4 or 5 calls ago, there was a lady that called in.
Yeah, will you talk a little louder, please?
There was a lady that called in about 4 or 5 calls ago, and she said that they didn't want black kids in their homes, and I think it would be a terrible thing to put black kids in a home where they're not wanted.
Amen. Okay, that's what the lady said, and that's what George Wallace said when the schools were closed to blacks in Alabama. That's what the people said when we tried to get housing past 7th Street, and it's a matter of business. Thank you so very kindly for calling. Let's get the record straight. These social workers are putting kids in foster homes for money. Don't you ever think they don't get paid. And money comes in green, not black and white. I would like to invite the social workers to come out here. And there were smiles on the white folks' faces yesterday when the black great defenders of segregation was presenting their case. Their cases was weaker than water. For example, say black folks can't, white folks can't comb black folks' hair. They don't know anything. Black folks' hair come in all description. Well, you black social workers, if you don't like what I say, you bring yourselves out here. Now, I told you yesterday, I told you that you were parasitical in your thinking. You are the ones that didn't go to jail for freedom. You have not lost one black social worker for the cause of freedom. It was an NACP that opened doors to OU so you could go down there, and we were hoping you would bring hope. And you came back here with your Rip Van Winkle-ism telling us that black folks can only raise black kids. You don't know. My forefathers raised the white kids. And now it's time to say, go Vikings, go Millwood, go. But we're going to end it with a rap. And we'll see you at Soul Bazaar 90 at 10 a.m. Watch us rap.
Now, they used to say love makes the world go round. All people are created equal, black, white, red, or brown. But love is like a dinosaur, it's become extinct. I want you people to stop, look, listen, and think. When was the last time you loved someone? I'm saying true love, not just for fun. To love a person for their mind, body, and soul, not for the cars they drive, money, or gold. We all need to learn how to love one another. It doesn't have to be your mother, father, sister, or your brother. What I'm trying to say is love your fellow man. Spread a little happiness throughout the land. To err is human, to forgive is divine. We need a little love for some peace of mind. These are the last days in which we live. Instead of taking all the time, see how it feels to give.
This is a Clara Luper radio show, and to the black social workers, I didn't call your name today because I want you to come out here, and I'm going to invite all of the black social workers to come out here, explain to 600,000 people that it's a difference in culture. Explain to 600,000 people how a black baby that's just born and put in a white home can tell the difference. You explained it, but I can call you, and I'm very sincere, you are the Rip Van Winkles of our time. This is Clara Luper saying whatever you do and whatever you see. Remember, my kids come in all colors, black, white, red, and polka dot. I do love you. I'll see you at Soul Bazaar.